Tubers, Tibets, and of course crazy people. You're about to witness an interview with a true unicorn. This is a gentleman that I named by the name of Daryl, and him and I are going to chit-chat on how he manages to live out here in the Philippines on $600 a month, and on top of that, travel all over the place. Oh, there's no way he can do that, you're saying. I would have agreed with you until I talked to him, and the good news is he can back up everything that he's saying. So here comes my interview with Daryl. All righty, kids. Well, as promised, I'm here with my friend Daryl. And Daryl, you have, well, let's first figure out your name, how old you are, and what you're using as far as income.
My name's Daryl. I'm 6 months to 70, and I've been here 2.5 years.
What was the motivation to come to the Philippines?
My income.
Your
and
income.
not being able to continue to live in San Diego. And if I stopped, I would not be able to stop working.
Got it. Okay, so you've been here 2.5 years. I'm going to do my best just to sort of let you chit-chat and talk. What's it been like from day one to present day? Can you kind of walk us through maybe your first 3 months in the Philippines, and then we'll move forward from there?
You know, from videos I'd watched, and I probably watched a few hundred hours, maybe 1,000 hours. It was a long time. It was over a few years, and it was even before COVID, and I just continued to watch. So I had all these plans and things that I wanted to do as soon as I got here. And once I got here, I was living more in a province as opposed to a Dumaguete or a Cebu, and life just evolved in a different direction. And so I think from getting away from the material aspects of what I was going to do when I came here to what I started to experience when I was here, everything just mellowed out, and I changed as a result of that. So I went from more of a materialistic person to someone who's just more experience oriented. I was shocked at when I came here, I made a lot of family right away, as opposed to making a lot of friends that you would relate to in America. I mean, here you're just kind of accepted until you screw up in the areas that I'm in. So that was an amazing experience. So interacting with people, going to the birthday parties, the lechons, and all those kind of things is just an experience that I hadn't even considered. It wasn't something that was in my mind to explore, but I found it, or it found me, as a result of living in the province, and it changed me. I'm so happy that it did. I mean, I'm happier now than if I made a lot of money when I got here, believe me, because the experiences that I have now, just being at this resort, looking at this beautiful scenery, the ocean across the street. I mean, it's to me, that's what I love every day. I love getting up. I lived in San Diego, which is one of the most amazing cities on the planet, and I traveled a little bit, Eastern Europe, Canada, North America, and I thought San Diego, and I still love it, was one of the best cities I've ever lived. Second to San Francisco, which I lived in the center of, in a very nice area of San Francisco. But I wouldn't trade it for here. Here it just has so much going on for it that never even occurred to me before I got here. But I can't explain it to you. You just would, it's something that you would have to feel when you came. So, and it probably had a lot to do with the places that I landed when I got here, and allowing myself just to go in a different direction. I couldn't buy a car fast enough when I got here. And now I just take the jeepney, and I really don't even care. You know, I mean, 13 pesos, boom, I'm at the public market. I go, I do my shopping, I get back in a jeepney, and boom, I'm back at 13 pesos. I've gotten to be friends with the guys that are the jeepney drivers. They won't even let me pay half the time. I sit up in front always. Is just become a wonderful thing. I'm one of the maybe 2 or 3 Westerners or foreign guys in the province, in that little area. And it's not tiny, you know, it's outside of Angeles, let's say 8-10 miles. So I can go to SM Clark Mall, which is 1.5 million square feet, or SM Pampanga. I can be there within 30 to 40 minutes. And I mean, there's, you know, you want a new, it's the only place in the world where I've seen an Oakley store where you can buy it and the entire store is nothing but Oakley. I mean, Nike store is huge. It's like 800 to 1,000 square foot store, Nike. I mean, I just haven't seen it anywhere. So it's all here. When you go to the mall, everything's in English. So, I mean, all these things I was not expected when I came here. So I can have all that stuff if I want to. I mean, it's very close. But I choose not to most of the time because I'm just so happy about the calm life that I've found since I've been here.
Now, you're kind of a unicorn from most of the guys that I meet and talk to, and different from me also, in that you love the province. You love the quiet, where I'm more of, I need that expat interaction kind of stuff. And you don't seem to be the guy that needs that. What is it about the province that draws you?
Well, let me step back just a second.
Sure.
In San Diego, there's an area called the Gaslamp District. And on Friday or Saturday night, there'll be thousands and thousands and thousands of people there. And I used to go down there every weekend, every Friday and every Saturday. You could set your clock by the time I got there. And I don't miss it. And when I got here, I mean, I've got a couple little puppy dogs. I got my little house. I live so well. I can save money. I can travel. I can do whatever I want to do. My budget runs somewhere around $600 a month, which I'm not saying that, you know, considering what I pay for rent, which is under $100 per month, you'd have to add $20,000 if you were living in Dumaguete or wherever you're going to be. But for me, I'm just so content with that. If I want to come to Dumaguete and I'm making $1,800 a month, my budget's $600, that leaves me $1,200 to travel. I could go to Palawan every month. I could go to anywhere I want to go in the Philippines every month and just be there. You know, it's just, it's the perfect life for me in the province. So I travel until I'm sick of it, and I go back and I'm being quiet and I'm just doing my thing. And every day I get up, I've got a vegetable garden. I'm not a farmer, but the guy who built my kubo, okay, he was a farmer, and he also built kubos and bamboo stuff. So I told him, I said, well, you, because my lot's like 500-600 square meters. I said, you plant a garden, and he said, we got okra, we got all this stuff coming in, melons. I said, I will split it with you 50-50 when it's harvest time. So my yard's been cleaned up, it's become a garden. I mean, it's all good. I mean, I just can't think of anything. I have nothing negative to say. And that's my everyday life. I'm just happy that way.
The $600 a month fascinates me because there used to be the budget videos that I watched back in the days were all at $1,000. And that's what
Sure.
the guys that I was watching were spending. And since then, it's increased. If you want to live in Dumaguete, or if you want to live here, rent a house, rent an apartment. But you have a very unique situation in your rentals. Can you go over that with me?
Honestly, I would be nervous in recommending somebody come here if they have $1,000 a month. It can be done for sure because I'm doing it. And I'm happy.
Thank you for saying that.
You know, but not everybody would be happy living like I do. I found my house because it's a fixer, so I made a deal on it, and the owners are in America. I said, hey, I'll just pay you a little bit of money here. I'll pay you a year in advance, and I'll fix it up, and I did some roof work and this and that and the other thing. But I'll be in the thing under like $80 a month on average over a 3-year period, and it just worked out. So.
And your secret, you were telling me earlier, is you just looked for a rundown house that was empty, and you made a deal with the owner, and you said, I'll fix your house up, and we'll make a deal. So he was doing nothing with it. You're giving him the equivalent of, I think, $80 a month or $60.
Well,
like
no,
that.
I'm giving them $36 a month. But when you when you consider what I'm putting into it, and you amortize it over 3 years, it's going to come out around $75
That's
a month.
remarkable. Yeah. But that's why I want to emphasize here what you just said. You're not trying to build up false hope in anybody watching this video about the $1,000.
In the video that I've watched on budgets and things, usually there's just so much that everybody spends.
Right.
When I say 600, okay, I'm not talking about what I pay for rent. I'm talking about what I could rent a place for on average. So I pay $36 a month, but that's not the $600 total came from. The actual total is probably closer to $500, but you can find a lot of one-bedroom apartments and studios in the province where I live between $3,500 and $5,000 a month.
And that's how many dollars?
You know, that's well, 5,000 would be 100.
$100.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 3,500 would be about, you know, it's under $100, 80. Mm-hmm. Then you got to pay your own electricity.
And how far away from the city or the SM Mall and all that? You said it's 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Cool.
And just to drive home a point about being happy in the province and not needing to go out in the busy city life. Walking Street is 25 minutes away. Mm-hmm. It's across from SM Mall. I don't need it. I mean, it's not what I came here for.
Right. Right.
So,
what did you come here for?
Because I wanted a simple life where I could live on my Social Security.
Okay. Well,
And I watched your videos.
You're reflecting my motivation
I
also.
watched your videos.
Dude, I just said, you know what? I can't stand working anymore. I can't afford it. I got to get out. And this made sense.
You had less
and
than...
However, you have done a much better job than me for staying under the budget.
You had less than 10,000 subscribers, seems like around 6 or something, when I first started watching your channel. Mm-hmm. And I never missed an episode.
Awesome. And now let's talk about that, because what you just discussed, fortunately for everyone, is you've been documenting this as it's been going on. So you have a YouTube channel. Would you mind sharing it with the audience?
My YouTube channel is x-pensive_expat.
So I'll put a link to your channel in the description. And anybody that wants to check it out can see that you can back up everything that you just said, because you've been here for 2.5 years. How long have you been recording or doing the channel?
A year.
A year. So everything that you're talking about is in living color, on video, all recorded, all documented, and you're living on about $600-700 a month. However, I think that's a benefit, but I think the big benefit is most likely, at least it was for me, was the change in my thinking, the way that I feel, my psyche,
that's my story.
Blood pressure,
yeah, that's my story.
You name it.
Yeah.
What changes physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally have you experienced since you've been in the Philippines?
It's a lot, and there's a few answers for that. Number one, I don't take 3 Xanax a day anymore.
Got it.
You know, and for the first year, every month it was like coming down out of an elevator. I'd get my deposit. And I was like, wow, you know, and I realized it had been a great month, and I just realized I was not as stressed as I was the month before. And so, like you have mentioned, you know, the Philippines doing its thing on you. And for me, that's the best way I can think of to describe it. So,
so you were taking 3 Xanax a day.
That happened for a year.
Did you come over here with Xanax?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a half a bottle or a bottle left, and I just started spacing
Now,
it
did
out.
you know, because a lot of guys ask me, they say, hey, can I get this, can I get that when I get there?
You can.
And the answer is yes. However, like me, I was taking Xanax when I got here. I just have been Xanax free for like 6 years.
And it's not that hard to do. It's not like I don't miss it.
No.
But if you would have told me I could have survived happily here without it, I would have just like, no,
right.
That's not going to happen.
What do you attribute that to? Do you attribute that
culture.
To the culture? I was going to say the people.
People have been
vibe.
so kind to me. I mean, I feel so much love every day. And I have people that wave at me that I've met. And I got to say that, you know, when I knew that I'd start to feel at home here is when I could tell people apart, you know, how nationalities look the same. And people will say, hey, how you doing? And it's like, where did I ever meet this guy before? You know, but
don't tell her I said this, but sometimes when my wife is standing with a group of women, I can't figure out which one she is.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's the truth, man.
I won't tell her. I know she doesn't watch your channel.
Don't tell my wife. Speaking of wives, that's always on people's minds. Did you come over here with any romantic inclinations?
I
or
did.
Is that kind of on the back
I came
burner,
over here with after a long LDR. So it was a long LDR. And I built a little house, and she still has it. It's fine. It does not upset me at all, because the LDR was long. So she waited for me a long time. But she changed, and I changed. And I mean, I wished her well. I do. Because I'm not, I mean, she deserves somebody that's more interested in being the person that she evolved to be. And I think her vision of what we would be doing when I got here and my vision of what we would be doing when we got here was different.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to, you don't have to be like angry about it. It's
No.
like, okay, you know. And so we don't chat every day, but we were in the market the other day, and she's there with a new boyfriend from Australia, and so she goes, oh, this is my ex. We shook hands and stuff. I said, she's a great girl. You know.
Yeah.
She is, just not for me.
Yeah. Well,
she's not mean to me. It's just I wanted to be more Filipino, and she wanted to be more Western.
got it.
And I'm trying to like detached from the way that I was.
Sure. Have you decided to put that sort of part of your life on hold for a while, or are you just going to like kind of come see, come saw, whatever happens or what may be will
Kind
be?
of whatever happens. I mean, you never say never, but I'm not looking.
Right. Right.
I am not looking.
Right.
I am almost 70 years old, and I don't need a lot of it now. Now, that could change on my way out of here, and I see
That's
some
right.
girl, blah, blah, blah. But at the moment, I do not miss it, because I don't, it's like I told my ex, I said, if I live to be 75, I've got 6 years left, and you've got 40. So we need to do things my way, or no way.
Yeah. I've always said that when you hit our age and you come over here, it's our turn. You've put in your 40 years of work or whatever it was you did. Yeah, I don't know your background at all, but I don't know, were you married in this, or would you just
Only
support
twice.
anybody? Only twice, okay. So you know the drill. I mean, as a man, you were the provider, the protector, the earner.
The single
and,
parent, all that stuff. I
all
was
that
involved with the
happy
schools.
jazz. And next thing you know, you're our age.
President of
and
the
here
football
we
booster
are.
club. Yeah.
And it's our turn, is what I say. It's time to be selfish and just, let's take care of me. And if you're not taken care of, how can you take care of anybody else? So I think the direction that you're in is super, super positive, because you are just kind of refilling the vessel, that's been emptied over
there's
time.
another girl that's been interested, for example, and I've had to kind of say, she's actually pretty amazing. She's really, really an amazing girl, school teacher. So she's educated, all those things. But I just have to do things my way.
Yeah.
And if you don't like some of the ways that I am, I can't change.
Right.
If I could, I might not be willing to change.
To thy
Just
own self be
because-
true.
Huh?
To thy own self be true.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just the way that I am. If you can accept me that way, that's fine. But, if you're going to, the jealousy and the tampon is just, no. My first relationship, I go, oh, is this a tampon thing? I go, well, text me when you're done. I'm going to go to the market and hang out. I'll be back when you're done. You can't do that. I think I just did.
So tell me this, what is an average day for you? Or is there no such thing?
There is an average day. For me, I get up and I go to the market for something. Carrots, potatoes, pork, chicken. I just get out of the house. So I walk out probably 70 yards to the highway. I get on a jeepney. If I'm in a hurry, I'll take a trike. And then I just go. And if I'm waiting by the side of the road for 15 or 20 minutes, hey, I'm retired. I am retired. People say, well, what do you do for a living? I take jeepneys instead of taxis. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And so my money lasts a little bit longer.
I would say that food cost, just in my own little world, and a lot of my friends, is extremely high, where you have gone much more native, much more local.
I'm going to do a cooking class. And basically I bought myself it's kind of like a crock pot pressure cooker. So I'm going to go to the market, I'm going to buy vegetables, I'm going to buy some chicken bouillon, this and that, and then chicken. And then I'm going to say, okay, you put all your stuff like carrots, potatoes, radish, you put all that in first. Bring the water to the boil, throw it in, cut up your chicken stuff, throw all that in. Then at the end you pull in some cabbage, and it's just because that's what I like. And then I dump a bunch of eggs in it, stir it up, and it gets really thick. Not exactly like a quiche, but more than, thicker than an average stew. And I absolutely love it, because every ingredient in there is just what I'm get the hunger for that day. And I mean, again, you're going to get a pound of chicken. Okay, that's $3. You're going to get like a pound of vegetables. It's 100 pesos, 200 or whatever it is. I mean, that is as much as I can eat in a day, and I would say 50% of the time I throw, a serving away. It's just, I eat that way because I want to. I could get on the jeepney, I could go into Angeles City and I can eat at some pretty decent restaurants.
So I think just knowing that option is available is kind of reassuring.
Yes. And when you see that you can actually cook, you go, well, I would have fish, or I would have this, or okay, fine. You can
Right.
make shrimp scampi in these little guys, just,
Right.
but I can do it.
So primarily, you spend your day is to go to the market, prepare the meal for the day, and then once that's done, what's next?
I watch TV, I watch videos. I'll go out and I have a lot of big trees, fruit trees. On the property, I always rake that up. The grass is coming in. I don't want the leaves to settle too long on the new blades of grass coming in. And work on some video stuff. Pretty much it. Plan my next trip.
Okay.
It's just very
So what
relaxed.
you found is that coming here on the $1,800 a month, you've just discovered a way to minimize your outgo by the housing situation, putting a little elbow grease into the house,
I've done
fixing
none of
it
the
up.
work.
Tell me a little bit about what you've done to fix up the houses and how that works.
Okay, well, the house has some leaks in the roof. I wanted some electrical check to make sure, because the house had been vacant for a couple of years. And stuff didn't look pretty sketchy. There was like 16 broken windows in the house, so they're just small ones. And I talked the guy into renting it. He didn't want to rent it to me. He goes, he said, they're going to come back from Florida in 3 years, and we don't want to have to evict you and go through all that. You're going to put all this money into it. And I go, just rent it to me. I will fix it up, and when the 3 years has come, you want me to leave, I'll be gone. You will not have to ask me twice. And you want me to stay for 4 years, I'll just stay. And so he decided he's going to go down and walk through the house to make sure I realized how much work there's going to be to fix that thing up.
This is a Filipino guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I flipped houses in San Diego. I was scared of nothing,
Okay, cool.
And I financed them because I was in the banking business. For 30 years, I did fixer-uppers and people that would flip and
So this was not your first rodeo. It was just doing the same thing in a different country with a different set of circumstances and an extremely different budget. So the cost to fix up one house is how much?
Well, it depends. Like my friend, I'm here to help find a house. He found one this morning that it needs smooth rendering on the outside and the inside. I said, well, that's not really a big deal. He goes, well, how do you find the people? I go, well, remember the guy we were talking to yesterday about a house? He's sitting there doing it. You can see the job. That's his resume. Ask him to come and give you a bid.
Right.
And an electrician, a good electrician, runs about $1,000 a day.
And how many houses do you have now that you've renovated?
Well, here I've just got mine. I've posted some that I've found for other people.
Okay.
And they have been rented. I found one that's probably 300 square meters. It's got wood paneling. I mean, it looked like almost like an attorney's office one. Very well done. Brick, red brick and all that. And paid $340 a month for that. 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, plus an office, plus a storage, 2 outdoor kitchens, and outdoor laundry. And the living room, you could park a small jeepney in, and you could sit a table for 30 in the dining room with the jeepney sitting there. It's massive. It's big. $340 a month.
So 2.5 years later, have you done a 180 as far as your outlook on life?
Back when
What was your priorities when you lived in San Diego, and what are your priorities
making
now?
money to survive, and really, I was doing some construction. Construction was not my background, but I had to do something for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started a little company, bought a Bobcat, did all that. But just trying to make a living till I got retired.
Okay.
That was really all my concern was at the end. I'd given up being a billionaire.
Right. So if you were going to advise somebody right now that's watching this video, I would like to sort of shoot a warning shot across their bow that not everyone can accomplish what you've done.
It's true.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so.
Or want to.
However, I love the fact that it's an alternative. Because I can guarantee you that probably 5% of the people watching this really appeals to them. This is, or more.
You
mentioned your channel.
You made a video a little bit ago, and the average American on Social Security, and there's 9,400,000 and some of them that lives strictly on their Social Security. That's $1,800 a month on average. I did some other research, and the average one-bedroom apartment in America is $1,760. So, on average, there's 10 million people with about $40 excess cash a month.
Right.
But that's if they don't need utilities. That's if they don't have a phone, don't have a car. Don't have,
Sure.
you know, it's just here.
Having the economic freedom that you found over here, was that like 80% of the stress reliever?
Oh my
right
God!
there? It was for me.
Probably almost 100%.
Yeah, just that alone.
You know,
Forget meeting girls. Forget about this, that, and the other.
People talk about, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. You know what? If you're facing living in your kid's garage and still struggling for food to eat, or you're looking at living on the streets of LA and joining about 70,000 other people that they know of, or being here in kind of the okay little house, the beach is pretty close, you're never going to go hungry, and you can meet the nicest people on the planet. Which is another thing, is a lot of the YouTubers who had come to the Philippines said this was the nicest culture that they had run into in their travels. These are world travelers, not just Southeast Asia travelers.
Mm-hmm. You, like me, you're a fan of Dan, Vagabond Awake.
Yeah.
I consider him a friend.
Yeah.
And he's a slow traveler.
Yeah.
And so you've actually kind of picked up on what he's doing. You're now starting to travel because you've got the money to do so.
Yeah. Well, I would be doing a lot more, except I'm finishing up this house, because this house I'm doing out of that $1,800 a month.
Got it. I understand.
You know?
I understand.
But yeah, Dan was probably the first guy that I watched, and I watched all over. I mean, Mexico, South America, Eastern Europe, all these countries that they had been to.
Sure.
And with everything, plus having the LDR here, this is where I wanted to come. But even when I was here, I wasn't wishing maybe if I was single I'd have been somewhere else. I mean, this was where I wanted to be, and it's turned out better than I had imagined.
Well, I'm going to end it here, and what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that we mention your channel one more time.
X-pensive_expat.
And you've documented everything that we've just talked about for the last year.
And more.
And I just want to thank you so much for coming on the little channel. As always, I think I learned something today, which is fun. I think that everybody watching this has possibly seen the unicorn or the different perspective. I think we've dispelled some myths here. And that to me is, I don't know, you can't put a price tag on it. So I just really want to express my appreciation for you taking the time today to come out and hang with me.
Well, one of the cool things about being in the Philippines is being able to hang with you.
Okay. Thanks
I tell you
much.
what, you sit and watch videos long enough from America, and you watch the old dog. Then when you meet him, it's like it's special.
Well, we'll edit that out. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you all in the next video.